just love the smell of coffee. Hi friends, it has been so long since my last video and since we last hang out together, and I'm so extremely sorry for not uploading the last couple of weeks. And I don't know, my life has just been, it has been something. I feel I stepped on this roller coaster and it is still going and it is crazy and not what I had planned, and it just completely prevented me from filming and doing a lot of other things as well. So yeah, I am so sorry, and I've missed you guys. I've missed filming and just hanging out with you guys. And it is actually Tuesday right now, and it is normally a work day for me, but I do not have to go to work for that long actually today. So I figured, why not just pick up the camera and let's hang out together today. Let's spend the day together, just have a little chat, talk about life. I really would love to share a couple of books I've been reading recently, so I would love to do that as well. Have some book talk. I also want to announce a couple of things from my channel, and yeah, just relax, hang out. And if that's something that you would love to do as well today, then just grab yourself a nice cup of coffee, a cup of tea or something else. Make yourself comfortable and cozy, and let's just spend the day together. Hi, if you're new to this channel, my name is Juliette, and if you would love to hang out with me and chat about books, then I'm here for you each Saturday with a new video. And you can always hit the subscribe button if you want to hang out with me and make sure you don't miss a video each week. Then feel free to do so. I will put some timestamps right down below so you can skip ahead to every part that you're more interested in. But for now, let's start with just a little bit of life update. Because I've been kind of like MIA, I've been like absent for almost 2 months right now. And in the beginning I tried to keep you guys updated to my posts, my community posts on my channel. And I definitely feel I posted a lot more about my life on my Instagram. So if you follow me over there, then you probably know a lot more that has been going on. But yeah, I've been, like, life has been a little bit complicated and stressful for the last couple of, well, to be quite fair, for more than a year right now. And it kind of like really reached its peak in May. After the moving to this apartment, I am still struggling with accepting the fact that I have to move here, but that's a completely different story. Don't get me wrong, I am so grateful for at least finding a place to live and that I have a roof over my head. But at the same time, after trying to find a place to live for so extremely long, it is still kind of irritating that you're not able to find the place that you really want. Like, not even the location, not even the house I'm living in, like, except for how big it is, nothing really ticks the box. But anyhow, as I said, a completely different story. In May, Sissi needed some tooth to be extracted, or some teeth, and that actually didn't go well. Normally it's not that big of a deal for a cat to have this surgery where they remove a teeth or a tooth, and in the end, the teeth that needed to be extracted by Sissi, they didn't need to be removed, and they ended up removing another tooth from her, and the operation actually went very well, but the aftercare didn't. She ended up having a very, very high fever. She was extremely sick. And for you guys who are actually new to my channel, Sissi is my cat. She's my little fur baby. She is my companion, and she has been ever since, oh dear, I think like 2020. So we have been together for about 5 years now, and like she just, we do everything together, go on vacations, she's always with me when I'm at home, and yeah, we even go to family together. Like we just, I don't know, it may sound weird to some of you guys, but she really is kind of like my child in a sense. Like, I know she's a cat, but in a way she is kind of like a replacement probably for a human child. But she got really sick, and she had this such high fever that she was completely shaking. She was very cold, and then she was very warm again, and Anyhow, we ended up going to the vet, and they told me that she had this fever, probably because of the operation, and she also ended up having this a little bit of thickness under her throat. But they told me like nothing to worry about, it will go away on its own, you don't need to pay attention, don't need to look for it. But in the end it ended up being an abscess that kind of like grew extremely overnight to around 6 centimeters big. And Sissi ended up scratching this open, which ended with the result of her having a hole in her throat for about 6 centimeters. So that's a very big hole, and I will not go into the details of how the living room looked after she scratched it open, but if you are familiar with horror films you might kind of have an idea. And yeah, I was completely shocked, didn't know what was happening when it actually happened. We were eating lunch, so it was very amusing too. And I don't know, life just got completely crazy after that because of the placement of the wound. They weren't able to kind of like stitch it together or put anything over it because it had to kind of like heal as it was, but she was not allowed to touch it. She could, if she would touch it and scratch it open, she might be able to die because of how far the hole actually went into her throat. They couldn't really do anything. You could actually see inside of her, which was absolutely crazy. And she was not allowed to play because toys could get stuck in as well. And they told me it would probably take like about a week, and she needed 24-hour supervision. I live on my own, so 24-hour supervision means me not sleeping for more than 24 hours. So I did. Like the first 2 days I stayed up not sleeping. I paid attention to Sissi. She kept on scratching and touching it, which was absolutely crazy. After a week, unfortunately, her wound seemed to be healing, at least I thought it was, but it was infected and it had to be reopened again, and the whole process started again. So in the end, like after 1 week I slept for about 5 hours. My parents were so extremely kindly enough, they were so extremely kind to come and help me out. My sister even came over from a place in the Netherlands, which is not that close actually. She came over so I could also get a couple of hours of sleep, and it was so extremely crazy. And it is something that I really didn't know if I should or shouldn't do it, because I didn't want to lose her, but she didn't really seem to have any pain, and she didn't really seem to notice that she had a hole in her throat. And because of that I really wanted to try and make sure that it was healing and that she was being saved. And as I said, she is really like my little baby, and well, we did it. After almost 3 weeks the wound was finally healed. Well, not healed, but was like close, and then we needed to make sure that she didn't scratch it open again, so she ended up wearing some socks. And I don't know, life has just been absolutely crazy. I was not leaving the house for about a month at the time, and when everything seems to be going fine, she ended up having an eye infection. As you can see from the pictures I've been inserting in this little clip, she has only one eye, and this eye is already not the greatest, and this eye can't get infected. So the vet was actually completely stressed out because it was infected. And this was another crazy journey with so much stress. And after Sissi was finally healed and she was able to keep her eye because of the medication, because that medication finally worked, I got sick. I think I had like about 4 days in between before I got sick myself. I ended up having a bacterial infection, and I got really sick because of this, and I ended up being sick for about 2 weeks. After a week I went back to work because I had been missing a lot of work because of Sissi. And well, I'm a teacher, and every teacher probably understands you can't really miss a lot of work because there's no one to replace you, and that kind of means that everything is staying still while you're at home. So it was such a stressful period, and after more than 6 weeks, I still hadn't left really the house, except for driving to the vet, driving to the doctor, and driving to work a couple of times. And because I was already extremely stressed before everything, this really got to me. And I was already not in a great place before everything started in May. And I am not in a great place at the moment. I might talk about that later in different videos. But yeah, I am currently working on it, and I am trying to slowly enjoy life again, trying to pick up my life again, because everything seemed to have been completely laying still, and it kind of was just so surreal, so extremely stressful, so extremely tiring as well because of so much lack of sleep, and everything because how I was feeling before that. My body just completely shut down, and that was also the reason why I was able to get this bacterial infection. At least that was kind of like what my doctor told me, because my body was just done with me. That was kind of like what was happening, and that is just something that was super surreal. I ended up being so extremely sick, so extremely tired, not being able to do anything, and it was really scary as well, because I've never been so sick in my life before. I couldn't really walk. I was throwing up like 8 times a day. I have never been this sick before, and it was definitely an eye-opening and a wake-up call for me. And currently I'm seeing a therapist, and I'm working on myself, and I'm really hoping that everything will be fine in a couple of months. It will need time, I'm very aware of this. But yeah, that's kind of like how my life has been, and also the reason why I have not been filming. I have just not been in the right place mentally. I definitely tried to film a couple of times, but that just, I didn't seem happy. Things didn't really turn out how I wanted it to be. My house was a complete mess. It still is. Like, I literally tidied up the places what you just saw on the footage of this video. My house still needs to be cleaned, and yeah, it just has been something, and I'm really sorry for this very large and huge update. And but then now you have like a little bit of an inkling, an idea of what happened and the reason why I have not been uploading. I think that one of the biggest reasons simply was that I was extremely tired, and I was not in the right place to do anything. And definitely the first couple of weeks, like watching Sissi 24 hours, that's really hard to actually, because every time I close my eyes or I turn my head around, she would start scratching again. And it was probably because it was like healing, so it was probably a lot more itchy. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, was the most surreal, weird experience, and I really hope I never have to go through something like that again. But yeah, that's been kind of like my life for the last 2 months, and I am really hoping that we are slowly stopping this roller coaster, that we are slowly getting to a better place, and that we can finally enjoy life again, because that is something that I've been craving. And I had so many plans, so many things that I wanted to do, and I kind of feel that I missed out on 2 months this year, which just feels so real, so different, it feels so weird. And yeah, it's just been really hard. And today I actually just want to go to a thrift store. I need to actually bring a couple of things to the thrift store myself. When I moved to this apartment and I put all the things back in their place, I ended up also going through a couple of things, and I decided to get rid of quite a lot of things, and I want to donate that to a thrift store. I also want to check out the thrift store myself, because I really am dying to find a couple of cute summer dresses or skirts, and I am also looking for photo frames, because my walls are still very empty. I want to start hanging up a couple of pictures that I have, so I really want to do that after this clip. I also need to go to my work in just like a couple of minutes, so I really need to wrap this up. And then later today I will catch you guys up on the books that I read, and I want to do some reading and journaling as well. And I am slowly getting back into life, slowly picking up the little pieces, slowly doing things by simply catching up on my journaling, catching up on my planning, and looking what I can do right now and what I can't do. I'm not allowed to overdo it, which is definitely probably one of the hardest things anyone ever told me to do, because I always overdo it. But yeah, I figured I need to get going. I'm going to the thrift store, take you guys along. Hopefully you like this. There's actually also a book section over there, which I would love to check out too. So we're going to do some thrifting, and then I see you again. So I just got back from work at the thrift store, and I had an amazing time at the thrift store. I bought a lot of stuff, at least a lot more than I anticipated in buying. Like, I hoped to buy a couple of things, but I didn't really think I would succeed in most of the things that I wanted to buy, to be quite fair, because sometimes when I go to the thrift store they have amazing stuff, and other times I go there's not really something for me. But anyhow, I have a little bit of a haul for you guys, a little bit of a thrift shop haul, and I thought it might be fun to share what I got. And one of the first things I was able to buy was this little dress, or this skirt. This skirt, I really love the fabric. It is so extremely flowy, perfect for summer. I love the print and the color, and I think it will match quite nicely with a lot of stuff that I have. And this was like only $6.99, and it's just, I really like it. It's just so super flowy. And then I was also able to buy this dress. This is a dress from Pull & Bear, and it is quite short actually, so I might not be able to wear this to my work, but at least I'll be able to wear this in my private life. It's like $8.99, and I don't know, the material is a little bit more heavier and it's definitely a little bit more warmer, but I definitely feel that for the Dutch summers that we have here, sometimes it can be extremely warm, and other days it is almost like this autumn. So I think that this is a very nice dress which will go very nicely in my wardrobe. And then I was also able to buy a couple of frames. I bought a couple of frames. This is one that I got as well. It was $1.99, and I don't know, I have to be honest that I doubted a little bit about this one, but I do think it is nice to have a little bit of a different frame as well. I have a lot of simple brown frames like this one. I do think that the picture inside is also really cute, but I'm going to take it out and put something else in here. But I just really like this frame. It was like $2.99, and then I also have this one, which was also $2.99, and I really hope that I'm able to get this picture out of the frame. Although I must admit that I do quite like this drawing or the painting, what's inside of here, but I definitely love the frame itself, so I might actually take it out. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we'll see. But I do kind of really like this too, so I don't know. I think I might keep it in the frame for now, and then I'll see later. And I definitely have to see if I can take the picture out of the frame before I'm able to switch it up, but I hope I will. And those are kind of like all the stuff that I got from the thrift store, and yeah, I'm quite happy with everything that I have. And since it is raining and a lot colder, I think it's like the perfect weather for a hot chocolate. So I'm gonna make myself a hot chocolate, sit on the couch, and I actually think that I might catch you guys up on all the books that I've been reading, because I've been reading quite a lot. I'm not going to talk about every book I read, but there are a couple that I would love to share my thoughts and opinions about, because I really enjoyed quite a few of them.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand. Hey darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car.
So it's finally time for my reading update, and I've got quite a stack right over here of the books that I read that I really want to talk to you guys about. As I said in my last clip, I am not going to talk about every book I read in the last 2 months, but I have a couple of books right here that I am dying to talk to you guys about. And one of the first books that I want to talk to you guys about, you actually had in saying if I was going to read this one, and that was Beach Read by Emily Henry. I ended up reading this book on my e-reader. As you can see, I borrowed it through the Storytel app, which is like a Dutch reading app that I've been using lately, and I ended up reading Beach Read. I've never read anything by Emily Henry before, and this was like my first time reading anything by her. And on my Instagram and TikTok I was asking you guys like which one should I read first, because I never had read anything, and I was kind of like doubting between 4 books: Book Lovers, Happy Place, something with vacation, people going on vacation or something, and Beach Read. And Beach Read was the one that kind of ended up winning on both platforms, so I picked that one up. And to be quite fair, it was simply not for me. Like, I understand the hype from Emily Henry's books. Definitely I'm giving her another chance later this summer, but I definitely understand the hype. I thought that the writing was kind of interesting, and that was kind of what kept me going. I wasn't that into the 2 characters. They're like characters, they're both people, like the boy and the girl, like the man and the woman. I can't remember their names, I'm so sorry, but they end up like living next to each other. They know each other from something else, and they don't really like each other. They didn't really have like that great encounter before, and they kind of like start living next to each other. They bump into each other quite a lot, and they go on this research journey together. They're trying to help each other out a little bit, and they're kind of like thrown into the same kind of awkward situations. To be quite fair, I didn't really feel that this story was that memorable. It was enjoyable for the time that I was reading it, but it wasn't that amazing. To be quite fair, it just wasn't really something for me, to be honest. I'm not the best contemporary romance reader. I quite often do not end up liking those books as much as other romance books, like historical romance books or fantasy romance books. The biggest issue I had with this book, that I did not care for any of the characters, and if I am reading a romance story, I need to like the characters, to feel engaged and to feel connected to their story, to their love story, and I wasn't. So I'm really sorry for the people that love this book so much, but I ended up not enjoying it as much as I had hoped. Maybe my expectations were too high. That's definitely something that could happen. But I'm planning on picking up Book Lovers later this summer, so I am kind of hoping that that is kind of the one that I will enjoy the most by Emily Henry, and hopefully I'll pick up another one. But if I do not like Book Lovers, I might wait a little while before I pick another Emily Henry book up. Like I said before, my reading month, or my reading 2 months, were not the greatest. Like, I ended up reading a lot less of books than I normally do, simply because of everything that was going on. Well, if you saw my live update, you know why. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there were so many things going on that I could simply not focus and concentrate on the books that I was reading. And I have to admit that for the first 2 books I'm talking about right now, like for Beach Read and another one that I'm going to talk about just in a sec, for those books I feel that my situation definitely impacted how I felt about those books, because I just couldn't really keep my mind to it. I couldn't really focus, concentrate, and I got bored a lot easier than I normally do. And I also take a lot longer reading the books than I normally do. And that is also kind of for the case for The Thursday's Murder Club by Richard Osman. And the reason why I picked this book up was simply because of the Netflix adaptation. I've seen so many things about the Netflix adaptation that got me curious into this book series. And I don't know, the Netflix adaptation seems to be something that I would enjoy, and I figured why not pick up the book first and try and see if I enjoy this one too. I love a detective, I love a mystery, I love stories about old people, and I just figured this was going to be the book for me. And to be quite fair, I did not even finish this one. I ended up reading until page 200. Which is quite far, which is almost like, I think just a little bit over halfway through, of the halfway through point. Yeah, I stopped at chapter 64, and I'm not entirely sure if it was the wrong time, the wrong place to read this book, or if this book is just simply not for me. But the thing that I was bothered about most in this story was the amount of times you switch point of view. You switch, like, I think in the first 100 pages you have like 11 characters that you're following, and every chapter is quite short. They're like 4 to 6 pages at least. So they're not that long, and that also means that you're not that long with those characters and those situations, because all these characters are in different places. They are going through different things, and they end up together kind of like researching the same murder. So they kind of like they're connected in the end. And I definitely noticed that after 100 pages that they were going to slowly get a little bit more scenes and chapters together. But at the same time you were switching so many point of views and so extremely fast after each other that I was not able to connect to any of the characters. I couldn't give anything for any of them. I was completely bored, didn't really know what was going on. And after 200 pages it slowly started to become a little bit more interesting, because the murder had happened and they started to investigate this. But every time a chapter, for me at least, was starting to get a little bit more interesting and I realized I was enjoying it more, I felt that the chapter was ending and then the other chapter would go about something completely else, and when we got back to that character was already out of that situation where we left them, and they were doing something else and they were with other people, and I had such a hard time connecting to these characters, to this story. And I definitely feel that because I am not able to focus that much, I probably need a little bit more lighter and easier stuff to read. I'm not saying that this is extremely difficult, but I definitely felt it was difficult to keep track on everything that was going on. It's also not kind of how I like my detectives to go. I don't mind switching point of views. Like, I read a lot of fantasy novels, so I am used to switching a lot of point of views. But this, in the setting and the story that it is, with so many characters, it was too much. Like 400 pages and you have like more than 11 characters you're switching off and on about. And it was just not for me. So those were like the two books that I ended up not enjoying as much as I had hoped. And the books I really enjoyed reading, and I just think that these were just exactly the right books that were helping me to get through everything that was happening, and these books kept me engaged. I was able to simply read like just a couple of pages or a chapter and then leave it behind and then pick it up later again. I was definitely a lot more able to focus and concentrate on these books. Not entirely sure why. I just connected with stories, connected with characters, and I was able to just keep my head with these stories and books a lot easier. I am a little bit in a reading slump currently, so currently I'm not reading a lot. But one of the first book series that I continued reading was like the Rebel Blue Rent series, and I already read like Done and Dusted, the first book of the series, but I ended up also reading Lost and Less South as Swift as Settled. I think this is book 2 and this is book 3, or the other way around. Not entirely sure. I actually think it's like the other way around. But yeah, it is. This is book 2 and this is book 3. But I love this series so much. I love being back with all these characters. I love being back on the ranch and in the small town. And I just had so much fun with this series. And I have so much fun reading about these characters. And they're definitely like quick and easy reads. Easy to get into, easy to get out to as well. And I don't know, I just enjoyed this so much. I was actually craving these books, and unfortunately I still do not have the last one, Wild and Wranglet. I am planning on picking that up very, very soon. As soon as I'm able to get back to the city and to the bookstore. Like, I haven't been in 2 months, so I really want to pick that one up. And yeah, they're just amazing, very easy to read, contemporary romance stories. As I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of contemporary romance stories, but these just simply click. I love the spice in here. It's sometimes, I do think it's not too much. Like, it's definitely a lot more than I felt it was in Beach Read, but these books are just so much fun. The characters are funny, they are witty, they are actually pretty well developed. And in Done and Dusted you already get to know the characters that are kind of like featured in these books as well. So you already start to know them slowly, and I definitely feel that you can read them definitely separately, but at the same time, if you start in Done and Dusted and you go through the series, I definitely feel you get a lot more out of it because you get to know the characters a lot better. Yeah, I don't know, it's just really clicked. I had so much fun with it. If you're searching for a light, easy romance story with a little bit of humor in there as well, and just light-hearted, I would definitely suggest check this one out, because I feel there might be perfect reads for the summer. Then another book series that I ended up starting and finishing is actually, I don't know what's called as a series in a whole, to be quite fair. I think it's just called for the name of the first book, but the Bride of the Shadow King series. Yeah, I don't think it actually has a series name. Bride of the Shadow King series, and I read the first book, Bride of the Shadow King, the second one, Vow of the Shadow King, and the last one, Heart of the Shadow King. And I actually have like the Illuminate editions right here. I love these editions. They are so extremely beautiful. I love the foiling on the books. I love the drawings inside. Like, look at this. It is so extremely stunning. I love the end pages. And yeah, the books are really, really pretty. I read this one before through NetGalley. I was able to get like an ARC for this book. And I remember loving this so extremely much. And I loved rereading this one as well. I definitely think that book 1 is like the strongest out of the 3. And it follows Varane and Vor. And Vor is this trolled king, and he is from a different world. And he comes to the human world because he needs something from the king. He needs his mages who will be able to help him in his war back home. And to get these mages, he needs to make a deal with the king. And by making this deal, he decides that he's going to marry one of the king's daughters. So it's kind of like a transaction, and he will not only marry one of the king's daughters, but he will also send his army to help the king, and the king will help Vor in return. And when he comes to this castle, he meets Varane on the way there, and she is like one of the daughters of the king, and she is the least likable daughter. At least the king doesn't really like her, and that is because in the past she refused the man that the king had chosen for her. And she, even though she is the eldest, she's kind of like locked up in a convent, but because of her sister's wedding with Vor, she is getting out and going back to the king again. So they meet on the road, and when they meet they click. Vor ends up marrying her sister on paper, and then things take a turn and Varane ends up taking her sister's place, but also by using magic so that she actually looks like her sister. Vor doesn't know that Varane actually is Varane, so he thinks she is her sister. And of course that's kind of, well, you kind of understand probably that that will not be a secret for very, very long. And when she ends up in his world to be his bride, slowly her secrets are revealed, and she needs to choose if she's going to stay aligned with her father, the king, or if she's really going to betray Vor, or if she's going to choose and to follow her heart and try to support Vor. And I just love this book. I love this series. There are a couple of reasons why I love this so much. I think that especially in book 1 the character development is amazing. In book 2 I feel that Vor gets a little bit more character development, and we learn definitely a lot more of his world and the problems that are currently happening there, and the threat that is lingering in the background. And in book 3 both the characters have a lot more development again, and they slowly get together. Their love blossoms more, and I just love this story so much. I love the world that Vor lives in. I think that the trolled world is amazing. It is so extremely beautifully described. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Avatar world from the Avatar movies. That's kind of like how I imagined it while reading this book. It just sounds extremely magical, with so many magical animals, magical flora and fauna, and just I would love to visit that world. It just sounds absolutely stunning and perfect. And I don't know, I just think it is a very easy read. It's definitely not that difficult. There are politics, war in here as well, and a lot of people die actually, which I did not expect. Even though it is quite light-hearted to read, there are kind of like moments when you're like, oh my gosh, seriously, is that actually happening right now? Like, it is sometimes a little bit too much for how the atmosphere of the book is, but at the same time it was really, really enjoyable, and I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, that were all the books that I read recently, and currently I am kind of like in between books, so I have to pick something out, which I'll probably do later this week. And I would love to know what you guys have been reading as well, so let me know in the comment section down below if you read any of these books or what you're currently reading, and maybe you have some suggestions what I could pick up in the next couple of weeks, because as I said, I'm a little bit of a mood reader, currently in between books. So if you have any suggestions, just leave it in the comment section down below, because I am always looking for book recommendations.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. 7 years now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. For our home to show on the horizon, soon we'll be there. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got. And when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore.
So it's already a little bit later, like it's 8:30 right now. I'm kind of like done for the day. I just did a couple of online courses, which actually took me a lot longer than I thought they were going to be. Doesn't matter, they were both great and amazing. I learned a lot, which is very, very important, but I really want to be in bed in like an hour. I'm one of those people that goes to bed very early, especially on school days, because I have to get up tomorrow at 6. And I'm one of those people that needs 8 hours of sleep. So just before I want to take off my makeup, I really want to wrap up this video, but then I realized I haven't talked about my channel update yet. Yeah, I know, that's kind of like my bad, but I'm going to do that right now, just before wrapping everything up. What I want to talk to you guys about concerning my channel is not that big of a change, to be quite fair. I'm still going to be uploading each Saturday. Books are going to be featured in every video that I'll post, because books are my life. I love reading, and I love talking about books that I read. I love talking about reading. I love talking about all the stories that they tell us, and they are just such a huge part of my life, so they'll definitely be included in each video. However, there will be definitely some changes in the format of the videos, simply because I've been struggling a lot this year, and it has nothing to do with me not uploading for the last couple of weeks. And it took me like 2 months before sitting for the camera again and talking to you guys, and so many things have happened, and because of that I am currently in a mental state where I'm not able to concentrate a lot. I'm not able to focus a lot. And I'm working on it, but it will definitely take time. And I'm starting to realize, and it's been kind of like going on since January, and probably even a little bit before that as well. I've been losing a lot of my focus, and my concentration for trying to read a couple of hours is just simply gone. Normally I could read one book in a sitting, or read for 4 or 5 hours after each other, or even for an hour, and now I can't. Like now I lose my concentration after 15 or 20 minutes, and I can't pick the book up again during the day. So I am slowly reading all my books, which is completely fine. You don't need to binge read it. But at the same time, I feel I'm letting you guys down. Especially since January, I've been promising so many books in each TBR and then not fulfilling it, simply because I couldn't concentrate. And the books that I picked out that I was super excited about at the beginning of the month, I completely lost interest in after a week or two, and I started reading other books because I am definitely a mood reader currently. And yeah, I've been feeling as if I've been letting you down a lot, and that's also one of the reasons why I started to think about my videos and what I want to bring to you guys, what I want to talk to you guys about, and is it really that important to have like a TBR and a wrap up each month. Like, I still want to talk about the books that I've been reading, obviously, but it might be less books than I normally talk about in a month, simply because I'll need more time to read a book. I have to be honest with that, and it has been a couple of months before I was able to accept it, and I suppose I haven't been really able to accept it since a couple of weeks now. And I am working on myself, and I'm really hoping that it will be getting better. It probably will, but it will be taking time. So that means I need some different ideas for videos, and I've been thinking about that a lot. What do I love about YouTube? What are the videos that I love to watch? What do I love to do when I film? And to be quite fair, I really enjoy those sit down videos where I sit down in front of my bookshelves, talk to you guys about all the books I'm reading. But at the same time, I also want to be quite fair and honest with you guys. I love making videos like this one, for example. They give me so much freedom in my creativity. They make me think, they make me plan ahead for each scene, for each clip. Where do I want the camera to be? The color, the lighting. The lighting right now isn't perfect, I know, but my curtains are pink, and yeah, that's just something that I have to deal with. I'll try and see what I can do in the editing process. But I realize I love watching vlogs. I kind of only almost watch vlogs. And I watch a lot of cozy vlogs about life and about books. And I watch definitely a lot of Disney vlogs, but that's completely beside the point. But you get what I mean? I love watching those videos. And I've been taking a couple of courses lately about how to make videos and how to film and set the mood and make a scene and give a certain feeling for each clip that you're making. And I'm also currently following a course about the editing process, so I really hope that things that I've been learning, I'm able to incorporate them in this video already. I really hope. I've been trying today, but I'll see how it will turn out in the editing process tomorrow. That's kind of what I've been really wanting to do lately. I've been wanting to have a little bit more creativity and more freedom with my videos. And I've been thinking about how can I do that. And I think that making vlogs like this, for example, are probably the best way to do it. So I'll still be featuring and talk about books in each video. And for example, for next week is a video that I'm super excited about. I'm going to be making a sort of preparation for the summer, and I also am going to share all my book recommendations for the summer with you guys. So it's something I'm really excited about. I'm going to be alone for the summer this year. It's the first time I'm not going on a long vacation. I always go away for about 3 weeks. I'm a history teacher at a high school, and that means that I have like 6 weeks of vacation. So I quite often go away for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And this year I'm staying home, and that's just so ridiculous, so weird. And even during COVID I went away and now I'm staying home, and I'm going to be home alone because a lot of other people are going away. People that I know, they are going away during the summer, and I am going to challenge myself by taking myself out. I am not planning on staying inside and on my own for the full summer. I want to go out, experience things, do stuff, and that's something that I'm going to talk to you guys about next week. We're going to make a preparation for the summer, for a dreamy girls cozy summer or something. I'm not sure, I'm working on the title currently, but I just want to spend the summer with you guys and talk about books that I've been reading, talk about books I read last year, for example. And I'll still read and I still talk about all the books that I am currently reading, but I might read one book for 2 weeks. I'm not sure how things will go. There are books that I really want to read, but they are very, very big. For example, the sequel to The Way of Kings. I've been dying to get into that book. But I've been postponing it simply because it is more than 1,000 pages, and I know it will probably take me a month, and that is not interesting for you guys. I don't know. I'm just going to try it out. I want to do something that I love. And I know those aren't the videos that most of you probably want to see. So I'm very, very sorry for that. But I am going to choose to make the videos that I love to make. And I will still be talking about books. I won't let you down in that part. You can still go to the timestamps and go to the book section and skip everything else if you want to do that. But yeah, that's kind of like what I really want to do right now. And I need to do what I want to do, which maybe sounds selfish, but currently I really need to do that because I need to do that for my head. I need to do it for my mind. So I hope you guys will understand, and I hope you guys will enjoy this concept. And I really, really hope that you will stay with me and enjoy our journey together for the next couple of months. We'll see where it takes us. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll go back to the old concept in just a couple of weeks. I don't know. I'm going to try it out. We'll see. And I'm just really excited for that part. So yeah, I just want to thank you so much for following me, and thank you so much for watching my videos and my channel. And I really hope you enjoyed this video as well. Before I send you guys off, I also want to mention the book that I read this video was actually the poems, a poem for every summer day. It's a collection created by Ali Siri, and they're like poems, 2 poems for each day of the summer. So I read the poems for the 24th of June, it's currently today, and I also still had to read one from yesterday as well. And I really love reading poetry currently. I've been reading a lot of poetry. I've been reading other poetry collections as well, which I'll talk about next week. Yeah, I've been really enjoying that so much. Probably also because that's kind of like how short my concentration momentarily is. Yeah, after reading 2 poems, I'm like done. So we'll see. I'm going to pick up a novel as well, because I'm going to continue the, what was it called again? The Shepherd's King duology. I read One Dark Window at the beginning of the year. Absolutely loved it, and I'm going to pick this one up right after I finish this video. So I'll talk to you guys about the 2 Twisted Crowns next week. Really excited for this one, and I'm in a mood for it, so I really hope I'm able to continue reading this one, or start and continue reading it. But yes, that's kind of like everything that I want to talk to you guys about right now, and I am going to make myself ready for bed, take off my makeup, have a nice cup of tea, watch an episode of Big Bang Theory, and then go to bed because I am tired and I need to be up tomorrow very, very early. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending the day with me. I hope you really enjoyed it. And I hope you're just as excited as I am for next week's video. And I really hope to see you guys next week as well. Thank you so much for watching again. And I'll see you guys next week.